Hi guys, Jared here with Day Traders FX, and it is time for the daily video update. You can see my last post here, which was 2 days ago now, about the US dollar having huge reaction with Wednesday's Fed meeting. And today is Wednesday, and today we had the meeting, and we saw a pretty big reaction. We're going to have a look at that in just a moment. Here we see markets are finally given us a little bit of a push. We can see oil's back up into some of those highs over 104. Gold's made a little bit of a run, but it's still hanging around 16 kind of 50-ish area, 40, 50. And the Dow and S&P had pretty good days as well. The S&P actually had a huge, crazy big run, 19 points up. And the Dow had a pretty big run as well. So pretty good day overall in the markets. We saw lots of news today. We had the FOMC statement. We had the FOMC economic projection. We had the FOMC press conference. So much stuff, so lots and lots of action, but I think markets are finally breaking out and finally starting to move just a little bit. Coming into tomorrow, we have unemployment claims and pending home sales, and then we have some Japanese news coming out, which not expecting a big change there, but we always have to keep an eye on that in case they decide at a moment's notice it's time to dabble in, you know, any kind of intervention or anything like that. Dollar index is still just kind of fluttering around here, not making a whole lot of movement. Still above 79, still below 80. Kind of been that way the entire month, and it's just kind of hanging out here. So we'll see what ends up happening with that pair as we go. As you guys will know if you've been in the chat with us a bit, we've been watching the euro for over 24 hours now, trying to get a break out of this channel here, and it's just been bouncing around. And we finally, with the FOMC news, it took a run down, looked like it might be giving us a breakdown, and then a push back up, and it's just been all over the place. And so finally we have a nice little couple of candles opening above this daily high. Remember, if you look back here, this is our Friday high. It's actually still below the high of the actual where the market completely reached, but it's below that, but making a nice little run. But it's definitely trying to open above some of these levels that it has not been able to open above in a couple of weeks now. Now, ultimately getting above our Friday high, we need to clear about 132.25 completely, and having a little bit of trouble there, but so far it looks like there's enough support that we should be able to make it up there. So I like this as kind of a short-term buying opportunity up into about 132, probably 80-ish area from here. So keep an eye on that. Right where it is, right above this level, let's take this pair on up. Pound dollar, this is what we've been looking at on the pound dollar, 160, 80, 90, kind of is this little double bottom area. Euro dollar, we've been looking at, pound dollar at 161.50 here on the top, and it's just for 3 days been testing that level. Finally, we got an open above this one as well. I like to see just a little tiny bit of consolidation slash retracement and get an entry a little closer to 161.50. It's below 161.70, so it's not far away, but I think we can get a little bit of a better entry on this one and take it up from there. And kind of see where things go from there. But I think we've got some nice moves and nice runs to kind of work with on this pound dollar. So above this daily high should be pretty good, and we should have some pretty nice little movements here to continue taking the pair on up. So I like that. Euro yen's just kind of hopping around. It's not going too much of anywhere. It's just bumping around all over the place here. Nice little double bottom on this level, and it's coming up to double top up here. And you'll notice this is about 107, just about 10800. So in the long term, let's look for a break above 10800. It's had a hard time getting through the gap and getting through some of this stuff right here. So we want to get above 10800, and then we should have a nice little run on this euro yen back up into some of these highs of 110 and so on, 111 even. So let's just keep our eyes out for that. Euro yen, pound yen, these pairs are all moving decently well. You can see that the pound yen, this is kind of an interesting one to keep an eye on right now. It's double topping pretty well, and it's having a little bit of a hard time right there. But it's bottomed out pretty well and looks like it might be able to continue up through there. So let's keep our eye on some of those upper levels and see if we can get a break into some of this triple top area, which give us about 150 pip run or so. And you can see that this high is about 131.75 or so, 131.75. So keep an eye on that, and let's see where that one goes. Probably my favorite one of right now is the Aussie dollar US dollar pair. So this is one that we've been waiting for that break of the daily high as well, which was just about 130 or 103.50-ish, right around there. And so we got a nice little break of that. It was a bit of a struggle, definitely put up a fight, but we finally got a break, and it's now 15 or so pips above that. Um, you can look for a little bit of retracement, see if you can get a better entry, and I think that's not a bad idea. See if you can get 5 or 10 pips better than where it currently is. But what it just did right here is pretty significant. This is a pretty big trend line on the 4-hour or on the daily chart, as you can see right here. This goes all the way back to that double top high over here at 108. And these, if you look at this 4-hour candle here, 4-hour chart, these candles have just been bumping against that level the entire time, and that's really created a very nice trend line there to break. And as we got that through that daily high, that is probably going to start a pretty nice movement. It's pretty obvious this nice little bottoming out that we have right here, double bottom, big double bottom right there, big bounce up, comes back down for a third attempt at breaking this low. Big bounce up once again, and now we're breaking pretty important trend lines. So this is going to be a very nice run up. Definitely looking to probably hit a little bit of resistance up here around 103.85, which is why I suggest see if you can get a little bit of a better entry than current market price, something a little closer to 103.50, because currently where we are about 20, it's only plus spread and everything about 20 pips or so away from that level. But if you can get in a little bit closer to about 103.50-ish, right around there, get about 10 pips out of that, then that makes running into that resistance a little bit better. But I think this trend line should be significant enough that the pair will be able to kind of continue moving from there. So we're going to keep our eye on that, be ready for that. Excuse me. And then last but not least, here is gold, and gold has been channeling between 1660 and about 1636, and then we had just a little bit of a dip a couple of days ago and a nice little double bottom there, and it's staying above this trend line that it broke, staying very nicely above that trend line. And now we've got this little support, or excuse me, this little resistance right here, which is just about 1645. I want to see us get above 1645 so that we can, really get some nice movement out of some of these other dollar pairs, because it's having a pretty tough time here. But a nice break above that, and then hopefully clearing 1650, we should be in clear territory for a nice run on gold, and that will really support the upside movement of all those pairs that I've just mentioned. So best of luck, and keep those levels marked on your charts and ready for any kind of movement, and I will update anything in the chat as it happens. Take care, guys.